Do we have a final implication on what does this mean for the consumers and the enterprises?
What do you mean? We could do.
So, for example, I think that people will realize.
Here's a good idea. Could we
Yeah.
say, does this mean that it's probably sensible to think into the future with what AI you use now? Because if you establish and if you integrate yourself into the AI and establish history and connection to ChatGPT, for example, then it doesn't end up being the one that's actually integrated into your devices in 5, 10 years time. You're going to have to make the switch, and that's going to be more painful than if you just focus on Gemini right now, if that makes sense.
That is interesting though, because will it, will it not become easier and easier to do the switch in the future?
Perhaps it will, but maybe that's the idea from Gemini, is that they want to make it easy, but maybe the counter shot of the war will be that in some ways these other companies are going to make it more difficult to transfer some things.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah,
there will
you
be
can.
things that you can't transfer across to Gemini, and they're going to
Okay,
maybe focus on that on purpose. Could be.
okay, you can say that. I might disagree, but we can finish on something like that. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, let's see. So where should we start from? Where do you want to start from?
We can
Um,
just say what is the implication on our day-to-day life?
um, I guess as we all use these chatbots sort of daily now, and we're beginning to sort of see them all converge and then compete for customers in the future, there's going to be a change in focus for these companies, and it's going to probably be this integration that we talked about. I wasn't 100% sold on that before this conversation, but now I'm starting to see it a lot more. And I
So
think
you
that,
think that people will change the type of AI tool that they use?
yeah, I think that depending on which one is more integrated and which one can make you more money, bluntly, I think that people will change which AI tool they'll use. I think the ones that are integrated and making money will make it easier to change. And maybe the ones that are not integrated and haven't got to that future point of what makes them successful in 5 years' time, for example. Let's say, just as an example, I'm not saying this will happen, but OpenAI doesn't integrate anywhere. And in 5 years' time, everyone's switching away from OpenAI into Google. Maybe they can do something to make it more difficult to switch. Maybe they won't overtly state that, but maybe they can make it more tricky to switch. Maybe it will be some feature that people love and can't be switched over to Gemini, for example. It could be. I can't think of exactly what that might be right now, but if I was an OpenAI board member, maybe I'd be trying to brainstorm that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would also add that before the power of AI was the context, and now it's going to become the agentic power. And so AI will need to integrate with as many different tools as possible. And so the tool or AI model that would allow to do them will be the one that wins in the long run, whether or not it comes from Google or OpenAI or someone else.
Absolutely. I mean, it could be that just chatting to a chatbot becomes what OpenAI, for example, or ChatGPT becomes the specialism of, and it leaves the actual serious agentic hardcore work to things like Gemini, and these things diverge into separate specialisms, both of which are valid and probably make money for the companies involved. So we could see them converge and then diverge again into different
Yeah,
specialisms.
yeah, yeah, that could be. Yeah, I actually see this as being a possibility.
Yeah.
Fantastic.